So they're quoting here from Fabrengen with the Rosh Yeshiva in Brunois in France, Rav Yechiel Kalmanson. The Kalmanson family is a famous family. The father was the Rosh Yeshiva, and all his sons are geniuses. So he's a Rosh Yeshiva in France. He has a twin brother who's a Rosh Yeshiva in New Haven. And then the younger brother, of course, we all know him very well from the Oyel. He writes all the Maimorim. So anyway, so this Yechiel Kalmanson, so he's sharing with the Bachrim about the years that he was in 770. Now, don't get the idea that every Bachrim was like this. We're talking this Bachrim was, these guys are Goyinim. Whole world is Torah, and that's very brilliant and so on. So he's just describing his experience. Everything is, his memory of it, I'm translating, is live and vibrant. The Bachrim sitting learning day and night, Nikla Chassidus. Just guys say a little joke over here. They say the joke is in the shtetl. So two people in the shtetl, whatever, somewhere, small little hamlet, the village, went to the big city, to Varsha, to Warsaw. So they came back, none of them been to the big city, the townsfolk. So they sit these fellas down and tell us what's happening in the big city in Warsaw, whatever. So one of them says, oh, as he says in Varsha, I never saw the yeshivas was sitting and learning, davening, and it's unbelievable, the scholarship and the yeshivas and the chadorim, the small town in it. The other one, such depravity. He saw the theaters, the brothels. So they're looking at each other like they came from the same city. What's the explanation? Where they hung out. This guy was hanging out over here. That's the Warsaw that he saw. And this guy was hanging out in the yeshivas, in the Bati Midrashim, in the Bati Knesset. That's the Warsaw that he saw. 770 is when it's the Kodesh HaKadoshim. But every Bach is like he's describing. No. So we shouldn't delude ourselves that we're just going to add in brackets a little bit. Some people have I also have a little bit of a complaint on the tongue-in-cheek a bit, not tongue-in-cheek, it's a little complaint. What's the magazine? The Chassidic there. It's a fantastic magazine and it's must reading. But it gives the impression, because they write diaries of guys like this. And it gives the impression everybody was at this level. So the average bacher, like, it's just like, I would think, beyond me. It wasn't that way. It wasn't that way. Of course, the diaries they write are the diaries of the Bnei Aliyah. But it was free choice then to, no, not everybody swept away. Simchas Torah is one thing, a certain moment you lost, but there's plenty of Bechira. By the Fadbreng in 6-7 hours, tune out, nothing, and who knows what. Every word, everybody is enchanted. Even then, there was Avodah and Bechira. To be in or not in. And certainly today. But it seems to paint a picture that it was all, it's not that way, and I think that's fair.
The Pneumius, everybody's that way.
We all know that, but that's not the point. The point is that describing here the life that is Bach, and the guy reads it. But again, I'm not faulting them, because whose diaries are they going to write? They're going to write the diary of such Bach. And enough other guys wrote diaries. So listen to what he describes over here. Life in 770, Bachim sitting and learning day and night, Nikla Chassidus, the Chayzrim, the ones who reviewed the Fabrengen. He's always hanging out with these people. The people who reviewed the Fabrengen, the Kanye, but not going to that. These were 14 Bachim that were singled out to give once a week a pilpul, a deep shir on topic in Nikla Chassidus, and this is his world. He says it was an exalted delight. And here I was, he said, a small little peg in this great and awesome, vibrant environment for which the Rebbe is the great conductor that gave life to everyone by the Fabrengens, the Maimorim, and the instructions, and the special Yechidus that some of them leaked outside, and we heard about things that people in Yechidus. This was, there are many Bachim like this, I'm not telling you not, but this, he's living in it. That's not the story. This is the introduction. He's just sharing with the Bachim at the Fabrengen there, his his experience in this exalted experience. He was a teenager, and he's swept up in this world. And then he tells the following story. I remember something that I saw after Hakafas in Torah in the early 70s. And I've got to tell you, he says to his listeners, that in those days, the Hakafas went almost till dawn. And the Avodah of the Rebbe was completely beyond, we saw with our own eyes, physical. The Rebbe virtually didn't sleep for days on end. That's one thing. For bringing hours and hours and Hakafas. I mean, there's no way in the world, I'm telling you, friends, now who you are, you witness this, you see, the coast, you see godly. Gashmis. So in those days, we went till dawn. And a few hours later was Shachris. He says, I'm not going to go into now to describe the whole Avodah of the Rebbe's Avodah that we saw with our eyes, Simchas Torah. So it's already, it's dawn, Simchas Torah morning, and my good buddy, my friend, Yudke Edelkop, anybody, Chaim knows him. Yudke Edelkop, what's the friends? You know him?
Neighbor.
Your neighbor where? Nachal Zachavai. Okay, so you know the family.
Sure.
So Yudke says, grabs you on my sleeve. He says, you have to see this. The window of the Rebbe is opened a little bit, and you could, from the street, from Eastern Prague, we could see inside. The vilon, the blind. So he says, I was a young boy in the chutzpah, foolishly, and I jumped up and I looked in. I guess I had to climb on something a little bit. The Rebbe is sitting on his chair, a big sefer, I couldn't see what it was, either a big Shulchan Aruch or a Gemara, is open. The Rebbe is shaking lightly, bent over the sefer, learning with incredible, which you could see concentration, either Gemara or Shulchan Aruch, as if that he was just Hakafas downstairs, the thousands. And as if in 4 hours from now, he doesn't have to be in shul for Shachris and starts all over again. He said, I stood there, just in complete shock. It was difficult to tear myself away from this side. And he concludes something that's penetrated me, I'll never forget all my life. They were sitting and learning about it. Okay.